Hello everyone, my name's Fran. I have been struggling with mental health issues ever since I was a teenager, and I've been working through these issues with a psychotherapist for about 4 years now. In this channel, I share my personal experience and skills I learned to help you tackle issues like fear of abandonment, social anxiety, people-pleasing, so that you could create and enjoy healthy relationships. If that is something that you're interested in, please subscribe so that you don't miss any videos. So this video is the second video of a series of videos of core beliefs to work through to overcome social anxiety. I have already created the first video that people are dangerous, and that is the essential core belief to work through if you wanted to heal from social anxiety. So in this series of videos, I'm going to share the workbook questions that I used and also some sample answers from mine so that you could better understand how to use it either for self-directed healing or in therapy sessions. There are other core beliefs to work through, like people will always leave me in the end, people will hurt or use me, and those core beliefs are closely related to another topic, fear of abandonment. I have already created those videos, but don't leave just yet. Let's get through this video. This core belief reflects on the feeling of being unworthy, of being undeserving of people's time and attention. So this could sound like, I'm a burden to people. People won't be willing to spend their time with me. I don't deserve their time and attention. It is a luxury to have people genuinely care and attune to my needs. I'm such a bother to people. For people with social anxiety, we operate under the negative light that people are not able to be counted on. Like, they are merciless, they are cruel, they are cold, and we're powerless. And we feel like we're at the mercy of other people's hands. This feeling can be especially strong if we are in this spontaneous social occasions where there are full of uncertainties, because we feel we're powerless, we're vulnerable. And it means that sometimes we gotta ask for help, right? But because the feeling of undeserving, we cannot reach out because we genuinely believe that we are such a burden to people, we're annoying to people, that people, they would think that we don't deserve their time and attention, and how dare we even reach out and even ask. We even push people away when people really wanted to help. We're thinking, well, they don't really mean it anyways, they were just being nice, they don't really want to do this for me. So in a little bit like this, we feel completely alone and isolated because we feel like we're drifting through life. We don't belong to any group, we don't belong to any team because we don't feel welcomed. The first question asks you that how old were you when you first noticed that your social anxiety began to interfere with aspects of your life? What might have happened that caused your behaviors to change? For example, being rejected, being shamed, being put down, being bullied or excluded. It is very essential for us to go back to the very roots to find what actually changed our perception towards socializing, towards people, towards the external world. Around those meanings we assigned to those events, we change our behaviors. So for example, if you've been rejected by the girls or the boys that you asked out, for example, your parents failed to back you up when you got into a fight. Your mom failed to show up to the parental meeting that she promised to. Your dad was late to the recital you got, or somebody called you annoying to your face. And because when we're younger, we don't have this ability of mentalization, that we think things are all about us. Like, things are just black or white. We think it's us who caused this event, it's us, being targeted, and we believe it's a reflection of our unworthiness. If you don't remember specific events, it's very likely that those events have been pushed down or suppressed very hard, that you need some time to be ready for it. And another type I have discovered through my own healing journey is this vague feeling. It's hard to describe it. There are not like specific events to it, like I don't remember anything, but it's just a feeling that I'm annoying to people or people are gonna be disgusted with me. This is very likely it has something to do with early memories, can be traced back to pre-verbal stage. When we're infants, we didn't have this ability to make sense around things. So how our parents, how our parental, essential attachment figures treat us is how we think the world are gonna view us. If If they're emotionally unavailable to us, if they are not responsive, if they're not stable, they're not consistent, we form this physiological perception that the world cannot be counted on. So you can try to write it down as early as you remember. If you don't remember it, it's fine. It'll come to you at the right time. But you can write down the earliest one that you remember, and then if you have newer ones, you can come back and revise it. And this is my answer. So second question first asks you to explore what meaning you gave to that event. For example, you are not welcome anywhere, nobody wants you, you are unworthy of love. Well, how does that belief serve you now? How is it limiting your life choices? Maybe you feel sad, disappointed, angry, afraid, depressed, or you're just feeling flat, like you don't feel anything. So I discovered in my own therapy sessions that whenever I talk about like I don't deserve people's time, I felt incredibly sad and heavy. And my body would have chills all over. And my therapist and I concluded that it is closely related to abandonment. See how strong that could be. It does not only show up in my thoughts, it also show up in my body. Whenever I think about people not being there for me, I would get chills all over, like I feel extremely cold and alone and helpless and hopeless. And I emphasize this in every video of mine, that you not only need to explore how you feel, like thoughts, but also how you feel physically, like emotionally, like how your body sensations show up tied up to that thought. Another thing to emphasize is that when we have this core belief of not deserving, we actually act towards it, we act to prove it. We unconsciously, maybe, or consciously push people away, and then when they actually leave, we feel left, we feel abandoned, and we feel like, well, see, nobody really wants to be there for me, they don't really mean it. So it's essential to recognize how this thought has been playing in your life right now. How is it helping you, or how is it unhelping you? You need to be extremely conscious of every decision you make, because it might reflect this embedded faulty perception that people don't like you. The third question asks to reinterpret the meaning you give to that event. It asks to write down how you feel now. Normally for this question, I would go on scavenger hunt. Well, they probably have a bad day. Probably they are anxious or preoccupied. I do that too. Like I do that all the time. Maybe they treated me that way because they didn't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to deal with their emotions. They were immature. Blah, blah, blah. So I would go scavenger hunt, write down every possibility that I thought might cost that way. And then I would put myself in their shoes and see how I have probably unintentionally hurt people, even though I don't really mean to. So when I look at it this way, I realize we're all human beings and we make mistakes, because most of the time we wanted to be good people. But sometimes when it is hard for ourselves, when life is difficult, when we are going through tough shits, we really didn't have this emotional capacity to treat people well, and that might have scarred someone. So what I ask myself to do is to not really take things personally. The next thing of great help is to just recall one experience that you think you're deserving. For example, your mom or dad go extra miles to help you, to be there for you. With this warmth, with this loving feeling you got, then you go back and see if you can try to view that event in a more neutral or positive light. And usually I would find this particularly helpful whenever I think about my mom, commuting 3 or 4 hours a day just so that I could go to the best primary school. I became like so grateful, so touched, so loved that I wouldn't, really hold on to the negative details of people hurting me. Now here comes the essential moment. With this new understanding, with this new gained perception that maybe you are deserving, think about how might you view people differently. What changes do you consider making when you're around people? You can start by visualizing, find people that you think it's easy to begin with. Maybe your friend, maybe your teacher, maybe your neighbor, whoever you think it's easy to begin with. And if you find it more comfortable now, you can actually take those actions in reality. Like, just go ask them some favors. Go ask them if they want to spend time with you. Go ask them if they want to hang out with you, and see how that might turn out differently than you originally thought. If it is not triggering, you can go even bigger. You can try to imagine those social occasions where there might be a bit stranger, there might be people with authority, there might be a lot of people that you used to be scared to deal with. Just go up leisure by leisure. Don't push yourself too hard. Do it in a way that you feel safe and comfortable in your own rhythm. If you encounter setbacks, go back to those worksheets, because there might be some remaining things that you haven't touched, something deeper. For me, it takes me many years to be able to be finally comfortable sitting here talking to people without excessive worry or concern that people might not like me. Alright everyone, I hope this video is helpful. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you wanted to see more videos like this, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.